I'm so excited about the opportunity I'm going to be telling you all in today's video. So a lot of you might not know of this opportunity, but it is a visa category that has not been affected at all with all of the changes, the cut down, the restrictions that are being made here in the UK. So this visa category allows you to come with your dependents to the UK. You don't need IELTS exam, so you don't need to write IELTS. It's expensive now. A lot of people are not passing, and you don't need that certificate. So this is a category of visa, or this is a visa category that you will be very interested in. So keep on watching and don't go anywhere. The visa category I am referring to is called the Charity Worker Visa. It is a temporary work visa here in the UK, but this visa category has a lot of perks, a lot of benefits that you would find helpful if you are considering migrating to the UK. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you more about the visa category. I'm going to be telling you about the eligibility criteria. I will tell you about the documents that you need. I will tell you about the application fee, the amounts that you need to pay. And as a bit of a bonus, I'm also going to tell you how you're going to find these organizations that are recruiting. So these charity organizations, you just don't want to know more about the visa category. You want to know how you will find jobs, right? So yes, I will tell you more about that in today's video. So ensure that you don't skip it, okay? Ensure that you watch every bit of today's video because I know it's going to be very valuable. So I'm going to be taking you to the official website, so you don't just take my word for it. I'm going to be showing you everything we're going to be discussing today from the gov.uk website, so that you will believe that whatever it is that you're hearing, it is absolutely correct. So if you are considering migrating to the UK with the Charity Worker Visa, you would want to know what the Charity Worker Visa is all about. So the Charity Worker Visa is a visa category that enables you to come into the country to do unpaid jobs, okay? So you can apply for a temporary charity worker visa if you want to do unpaid voluntary work for a charity and you meet the other eligibility requirements. So like I said, I will tell you what these eligibility requirements are, and you will be more prepared and informed about things that you need to get ready. This visa category has replaced the temporary worker visa, which is called the temporary worker charity worker visa. Is a tier 5 visa. So now if you are applying for this visa category, or if you are looking for it on the gov.uk website, just type charity worker visa and then it will pop up on your screen. The eligibility criteria for this visa category involves you having a certificate of sponsorship reference number from your UK sponsor. And before you can have a certificate of sponsorship reference number, you need to have a job, right? So you need to apply for jobs, and when you apply and you get a job, then you can get a certificate of sponsorship from your employer and use that in applying for the visa. So like I said, I'm going to be telling you how you can find these sponsors that are licensed to give you the certificate of sponsorship if you are interested in this visa category. I will show you more about that in today's video, so ensure that you do not skip any bits. Another eligibility criteria that you need to meet is you need to have enough money to support yourself in the UK. So you usually need to have at least £1,270 available unless you are exempt. Cases where you would be exempt are if on your certificate of sponsorship your employer ticks yes on the maintenance part, then you don't need to have just £1,270 in your account to show as proof of funds. Another eligibility criteria for you to meet is you have to be 18 years and over when you apply for this visa category. So you see, you don't have a lot of things to meet. You don't have a lot of criteria. You don't need to write IELTS. You don't need to do anything else. But these are the criteria that you need to meet first before you can apply for this visa category. Okay, you cannot get this visa if you were given a religious worker or charity worker visa in the last year, unless you can prove you were outside of the UK for the whole of that time. So the next thing that we are going to be looking at are the documents that you would need to provide when you are applying for this visa category. So we've talked about that certificate of sponsorship reference number that you would get from your employer. You need that. So you would need your certificate of sponsorship reference number, which your employer would give. Secondly, you need to have a valid passport or other document that shows that your identity and nationality. So I'm sure by now everybody knows you need to have an international passport if you are considering migrating out of your country. If you don't have that, that should be number one on your list. So ensure that you sort out your international passport and then you can start applying for jobs. Another document that you would need to provide is evidence that you have enough personal savings to support yourself in the UK. So like the £1,270 that we talked about, you need to show an evidence of that. And that's when you would have to show your bank statement, which means the £1,270, you need to convert it to your country's currency, and that money has to be in your account for 28 days before you apply. So you need to have a bank statement reflecting that. Another document that you would need to provide for this visa category is your tuberculosis test results. So because you're going to be in the country, most times you will be in the country longer than 6 months, you need to show that certificate or the test results that you do not have tuberculosis or whatever the case may be. You need to show that test result. And because this visa category allows you to bring your dependents with you when you are coming into the country, you also need to show proof of relationship with your dependents. So you can come with your wife, you can come with your kids, and there is no restriction that you cannot bring your dependent to the UK under this visa category. After you have gotten a job and you want to apply for this visa category, you need to know how much it would cost you. So the visa itself costs £298. That is how much you would pay for the visa. But you also need to pay the healthcare surcharge for this visa category. The healthcare surcharge is £1,035 per year. And if you are coming with your dependent, each of you would have to pay the healthcare surcharge as well. So ensure that you do your calculations accurately when you are planning to come into the country with this visa category. Depending on where you are applying from, so if you are in the UK or outside of the UK, the duration within which you would get a decision differs. So from outside of the UK, you would get a decision within 3 weeks. And if you are in the UK, you would get a decision within 8 weeks. So after your visa has been approved and you have moved into the country, you need to be aware of how long you can stay in the country for. And because it is a temporary work visa, it is not a permanent work visa, it means that the maximum number of time you can be permitted to stay in the country is 12 months or shorter than 12 months if your certificate of sponsorship says that the job is for 6 months, 8 months, or less than 12 months. Then they would give you permission to stay in the country for whichever duration is shorter. So take for example, if your employer says, okay, the job's duration is for 8 months, then the permission you would be given is to stay in the country for 8 months, even though you can stay in the country up to 12 months. Rather, they would permit you to stay for 8 months because the job says 8 months duration. So that's what you need to be aware of. Okay, I know a lot of people would be asking, okay, so what can I do then if the visa category is only temporary and I can stay in the country for 12 months? Now, what you can do and what you cannot do is highlighted on the gov.uk website. So you can study for some courses, but you would need an academic technology approval scheme certificate. So you need a certificate basically to tell you that you can study. That's one. You can work for your sponsor in the job described in your certificate of sponsorship. The third thing you can do is you can do a second job in the same sector at the same level as your main job for up to 20 hours a week. So you can do an extra job for 20 hours a week as long as it is in the same sector as what it is that you were doing. And you can also bring your dependent. So that's a good thing. You can bring your dependent, you can bring your partner, you can bring your children, your wife, your husband, whatever the case may be. You can bring them with you if they are eligible. What you cannot do, you cannot receive any payments for work, you cannot take a permanent job, and you cannot get public funds. I myself, I'm not entitled to a public fund. Even as I am here under a 10-2 work visa, I'm not entitled to public fund until when I am eligible for that. So that's fine. A lot of people would be asking, so if I'm coming into the country for an unpaid job, how would my bills be met? How will I foot my bills and things like that? Some of these organizations, when you apply, would provide you with stipends. So some people would say, we would provide you with accommodation, we will feed you daily, you don't have to pay rent. And another benefit is, when your dependent comes with you, your dependent can do any kind of job that they want to do as long as they are eligible. Let me show you that on the gov.uk website as well, so you would know that it is accurate. So the gov.uk website have told us what your partner or child can do and cannot do. Your partner or child can work except as a sports person or coach. They can study and they can travel abroad and return to the UK. They cannot apply for most benefits, public funds, or the state pension. If their application is successful, they'll get a full list of what it is that they can do and what they cannot do. Another thing I should let you know is you can apply to extend your visa. So I know they said that you are only permitted to stay in the country for 12 months, but you can apply to extend the visa before that visa expires. So if you are still working with your charity organization, you can apply to extend the visa. Another good news is you can switch your visa to a skilled worker visa. I know a lot of people are wondering, but it is unpaid job. They have said that you cannot take a permanent job. But if you have a look on the gov.uk website on visa categories that can switch or that cannot switch to the skilled worker visa route, the charity worker visa is not part of the list. So yes, you can switch from a charity worker visa to a skilled worker visa. So if this is something that you would want to consider, please ensure that you do your research properly and give this a go. So in the next section now, we're going to be looking at charity organizations that you can apply through to move to the UK. There are quite a number of these charity organizations, over 1,000 of them, I must say. So ensure that you flip through each one of them, have a look, see which ones that you are interested in, and put out your applications. So the gov.uk website has the register for licensed sponsors. This list was just updated on the 3rd of October. So when you go on the gov.uk website, you're going to see the list of registered licensed sponsors that can give you free certificate of sponsorship through the charity organizations. There are quite a number of charity organizations, over 1,000 of them, and there are two ways in which you can access this information. It's either you view the documents online or you download an Excel file that gives you the option to filter through the available list. So I'm going to be giving you an illustration so you have an understanding of what it is that I am talking about. So by the time you go on the gov.uk website and you download it, it gives you this Excel file like I've made mention, and then you come up to this area where you click on filter, and this part where it says organization name, town or city, you can filter through those areas, filter the location, but let's filter the routes and see what option it gives us. So on here you can see it says select all, and because we don't want all of the options, we are going to deselect it and just click on charity worker alone, and this has now been applied. So you have 1,323 charity organizations that you you can put in your job application through. They are licensed to give you free certificate of sponsorship. It is free. Oh, you don't have to pay anybody to give you the certificate of sponsorship, so it is free. Another thing I need to make mention of, another tip that I need to give you: ensure that when you are applying for the job, it is categorically written out, spelled out, that volunteer role. There are some of these charity organizations that could give paid roles, but the visa category says that you are coming into the country to do an unpaid job. So ensure that when you are applying for the job itself tells you it is an unpaid role, and that's the one that you need to apply for, so that you do not waste your time applying for a job and your visa will be declined or your visa will be denied. So ensure that when you are applying for the job, it is a volunteer role. That's that. I needed to point that out before I forget. So you have all of these options. What you would do is just come on this area, copy whichever the organization that you are interested in, go on Google, place it on Google, go through their portal, see if they have any jobs that you are interested in. If you want me to do a separate video on that showing you how to do this, please do leave it in the comment section. I will be more than happy to do a video specifically on that for you, just so that we don't make this video too long. I'm gonna leave it here. So in today's video, I've told you more about a charity worker visa, every information that you need to be aware of. I've also highlighted the eligibility criteria, the documents that you need to have at hand and have it ready. I've also told you how you can access these charity organizations that are licensed to sponsor you into the country through the charity worker visa route. So ensure that you give this a go. I'm rooting for you. If you have any questions, please do leave it in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions to the best of my capabilities. Until the next time, do have a lovely day.